Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Iqbal Rifa'i Putra. My student ID 074. I'm from Management Regular Class, Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Lampung. I want to read an article about ButtonWood. Fasten your seatbelts, it's going to be a bumpy night. Those famous lines of Bette Davis in All About Eve may turn out to be the motto for the market in 2018. After the volatility vortex in February sparked by concerns about inflation, markets have thrown a tariff tantrum after President Donald Trump's speech sparked fears of a trade war with China. In February, stocks sank on heavy hints of American leaves on import steel and aluminium. The prospect of trade measures against China signaled on March 22 against his shares. Then reports that China and America were making progress in trade talks caused the S&P 500 index to rise by on March 26, its best day since August 2015. It promptly fell again by the next day. Further volatility seems likely, not least after the appointment of John Bolton and ultra hawk on foreign policy as Mr. Trump's national security advisor, that raised the possibility of increased tension with North Korea, despite the recent suggestion of a summit between Mr. Trump and Kim Jong-un. The change of tone from the White House have been so rapid that you might think policy is being set by two-faced, a Batman villain whose decisions are controlled by the toss of a coin. Last year was a bumper one for global stock markets. Investors' shocks of pessimism about growth, which had led to many earnest discussions about secular stagnation, and instead that the world was experiencing a period of synchronized economic expansion. Tax cuts passed by America's Congress in this December were the icing on the cake, boosting both the American economy and payouts to the shareholders of multinational firms. But this year has seen a number of worries come to the fore. The annual completion of the stock market is changed before our eyes, says David Rosenberg, a strategist at Blueskin Safe, a Canadian wealth management firm. Central banks are withdrawing some of the monetary stimulus that has supported the market rally since 2006, and economic data have not been quite as positive as before. Citigroup's Surprise Index, which is based on whether actual numbers turn out to be better or worse than forecast ones, has dropped back from the high levels reached at the end of last year. The price of copper, a commodity that is particularly sensitive to economic conditions, has fallen by 9% so far this year. The prospect of further interest rate increase has taken its toll on bank stocks, with America's KBW Nasdaq Bank Index dropping by 8% in the week to March 2003. The technology sector has also taken a hit, led by the FANGs, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. The S&P 500 Information Technology Index managed a 5-year annualized return of 18%. But controversy over the use of Facebook data in the 2016 presidential election prompted a reversal. Fears of extra regulation caused more loss on March 2007. The index has dropped by 5% so far in March. All this has taken a toll on sentiment. The latest survey of investors and strategies by Absolute Strategy Research (ISK), a consultancy, shows that they have become less confident about the economy. The survey response generated only a 14.3% probability of the business cycle being stronger a year from now. That is down from 55% in the first quarter of 2017. Investors think there is a 58% probability that equities will be higher a year from now, but that is not particularly optimistic. According to the Barclays Capital Equity Yield Study, American sales rose in 64% of the year since 1926, and investors expect a more testing economic climate. Both inflation and bond yields are forecast to rise over the next 20 months. The 10-year Treasury bond yield has already risen from 2% at the start of the year to in the part because the market expects America's tax cuts to lead to a lot more debt being issued. It is not clear how far yields can rise before they start to have a palpable economic impact. Debt becomes more of a problem with slower growth and higher interest, says David Browse of ESR. As a sign of tightening liquidity conditions, the ESR team also points out that the real growth rate of the global money supply measure has slowed sharply from more than 9% to less than 4% in recent months. Another warning sign is that the gap between short-term and long-term interest rates has shrunk. In the past, a flatter yield curve has signaled an impending economic slowdown. These signals may turn out to be false alarms. But even so, investors would be forgiven for checking their seat belts. Thank you.